Make sure you all can see me. Can you see me? Yeah, be all up in the. Hope it's not too dark. And I did all of this before I came on. But that's another reason I'm a little late. There's no sun in sunny Florida. All right, good morning, everyone. Good morning. Hopefully you can see me. Yeah, we're going to go with this. Hopefully you can see me. Hi, good morning. I'm a little late today because one, it's no sun in sunny Florida. And yes, my alarm went off at 5 a.m. And I was like, okay, a few more minutes. This, the light will wake me back up. No, it didn't, because there isn't any. And then I was, supporting some other people who do lives. I'm still getting used to like where my time is, what goes better. So hi, everyone. I am Dr. Vernita Glenn White. I go by Dr. V. I'm a life and empowerment strategist. I am a consultant. I am an author. I am a speaker. And I help high-achieving women, ambitious women, women in leadership, all of those great things, vibe higher in their influence, brilliance, and excellence, so they can break their personal glass ceilings and live the dynamic life they know that they deserve and want, that expands beyond their positions, titles, and degrees. Where did all this come from? Because I am she is me, we are her. And I've been doing this Building Brilliance awareness. I told you all it started when I participated in Lisa Nichols' Possibility Diet. And I was like, okay, things like unhooked for me just from the lives that she was doing that day. So I said, well, I wonder what would happen if I start talking about some of those same concepts as far as building brilliance awareness. Yeah, you can hear me. Building brilliance awareness. And the reason why that's important is because I wanted to talk to the women who may not want to become full-time entrepreneurs, and there's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes Dr. V, sometimes I think the entrepreneurship life is being glorified and everyone wants to do that. Yes, I am also transitioning that way, but I have some other things going on, and it's not like, full speed ahead. I'm ditching everything. For some people, it really works that way. For some people, they have always been born to be full-time entrepreneurs. Like, you know those kids. I believe a lot of us have entrepreneurial genes or talents or gifts, and we're still able to use them, even if, hey, business strategist Val, and we're not always in a position to use them. But I don't want you, I'm talking to the women that may not necessarily want to become full-time entrepreneurs yet. However, I do believe in parallelpreneurship. That's not my term. I heard that from Lisa as well. Parallelpreneurship is where you still have your investor, you still have your main job, because the women I work with, they love their jobs, they love their careers, but they know that there's something more. So I've helped some of them to start writing books. I helped some of them start their business. I am not like a business strategist or coach, but I work with them to cultivate up those ideas. And I say, okay, you can go ahead and go over here, right? I've helped some think about launching e-commerce businesses, anything on the side, youth centers. I've had some start programs that they want to do, or even expand, like since I'm a college professor and a consultant, expand the consulting business, up-level their professorship, and then also I help women if you want to get into teaching, if you want to get into writing, if you want to get into presenting at conferences. I know how to do all of that using the gifts and the talents that you already have. So that's where all of this came from. So today on Building Brilliance Awareness, what I want to talk to you about, I thought today was the first day of spring, but it was actually yesterday. But we're going to treat it like it's today. A lot of people treat this time like it's their January 1st. I know a lot of people that celebrate the new year around this time, because spring is a new start. Spring is an awakening after all of the snow melt. I don't know about that in Florida, but after everything, like it was dead during winter, now it comes to life in spring. So it also gears up and is going up until Q2, quarter two. So you'll see something later today, but I wanted to talk to you about what would you do and then what will you do in the next 90 days? Not what you want to do, but what will you do in the next 90 days? Starting April 1st to the quarter, because a quarter has 3 months, right? April, May, June. What will you do in the next 90 days? And I'm all about holistic life. So I want you to think of something. What will you do, in your business or career in the next 90 days? And then pick an area of your personal life. And if you've been with me, you know I talk about this. There are 9, some people say 12. I know all of them, but I'm only going to talk to you about 4 because I already told you about business and career. What about finances? What will you do to up-level your life in your finances? What will you do to up-level your life in your health and wellness? What will you do to up-level your life in relationships? And what will you do to up-level your life in spirituality? Pick one of those areas and then rate yourself and then track yourself throughout the next 90 days. The good thing is we have a cushion in between because of today and before April 1st starts. So some of you may be like, man, I don't know, or I don't want to, or it could just be me. So I'm going to read this to you, and it's from Mother Teresa. And I heard this I think 2 years ago. And I was like, oh, that's nice, but maybe that was just from Mother Teresa. But the more that I dig deep into myself, realizing that if I don't do what I'm supposed to do, I'm leaving women out there who may need me. Like I've been in training all this week on certain things. And one of the questions they asked was, who's waiting for you on the other side of your fear? What? And I used to be like, oh, it's like my grandmother, because I want to make sure that I'm able to take care of her when I start this particular business or do this venture. And it was like, no, go deeper. And then it was like, talk to the woman that you know that you want to help. And I'm sitting there, tears coming down my eyes, because I realized if I don't show up and step up and offer the services and the gifts and talents that I was given by God, if I keep holding them, I'm being selfish and I'm doing a disservice to, I call her Michelle. I'm doing a disservice to Michelle because Michelle is out there, top of her game. She could be a professor. She could be in the C-suite, and she is brilliant. She is doing her thing, but when she comes home, she's empty, and she's like, what else can I do? Because I'm more than just my degree and my title. So when I had to think about that and think about, Michelle sitting at home, yes, she has her friends. Maybe she goes out, maybe not now, too much in the pandemic, but she goes out, she has fun. She loves her nice things, her shoes, her bags, credentials on point. She leads major projects, but she still feels empty. Maybe she wants to start a youth center or a nonprofit, but she has no idea that's in her because she hasn't had the conversation to pull it out of her. What if I'm the one to have that conversation with Michelle? We work together. She goes starts that nonprofit or that youth center, and then she ends up helping tens of thousands of children. But because I'm all up in myself, I never had that conversation with Michelle. Michelle keeps going on doing her daily life. She's really pretty much okay. I mean, we all have decent lives. I said this a couple of days ago. Sometimes if you just want to chill, your chill life or where you are right now is not horrible. Sometimes people make it seem like, oh, you need to do better in your life. And you can look around because sometimes nobody want to do all of the extra deep work to get to the other side and do all of that. So if that's you, it's cool. But sometimes you're like that because you never had someone to ask you the question. So Michelle could be fine, but she's always going to have this deep longing. And she can find ways to suppress that. But that's a disservice because those tens of thousands of children who could potentially go to her program or her center or her nonprofit they're out there waiting for her too. So when I had to sit there and sit with that, I was like, oh crap. If this goes even beyond Michelle. This goes to the children I may never meet, or this goes to the elderly people, because, you know, maybe someone wants to work with the elderly. This may go, you know, I'm doing a disservice for the elderly, and I may never meet them, but the person who stands between me and the elderly getting what they need, I'm wrapped up in myself and don't want to talk to them. Yes, there's so many people waiting on us. So this from Mother Teresa that I heard, some of you may know it. It was new to me a couple of years ago, but I'm going to read it because it helps me get out of me. So it's called Do It Anyway. People are often unreasonable, irrational, and self-centered. Forgive them anyway. If you are kind, people may accuse you of selfish, ulterior motives. Be kind anyway. If you are successful, you will win some unfaithful friends and some genuine enemies. Succeed anyway. If you are honest and sincere, people may deceive you. Be honest and sincere anyway. What you spend years creating, others could destroy overnight. Create anyway. If you find sincerity and happiness, some may be jealous, but be happy anyway. The good you do today will often be forgotten. Guess what? Do good anyway. Give the best you have, and it will never be enough. Give your best anyway. And the final analysis is between you and God, me and God. It was never between you and them anyway. Mother Teresa. Man, I probably need to read that every day, because we may not feel all of those at one time, but I'm pretty sure each one of us have felt something like that, especially about maybe being successful, or no one will be able to see the craft that we do. Maybe we created programs that some people may never buy that particular program, but we had to create it so that our creative juices can flow for something bigger. Right? Yes, it's between you and God, and that's it. And I think if we keep that in the forefront, then nothing else really matters. What happens, and I've been learning this too, the reason why we haven't touched our brilliance or expanded our brilliance is because we're allowing ego to get in the way. Mother Teresa's example was a great way to shut down the ego. And if you haven't written that book, if you haven't started that program, if you haven't launched that business, if you haven't met those clients, if you haven't built that youth center, if you haven't applied for that grant, if you haven't written that research article, if you haven't applied to school to get that degree, if you haven't applied for the promotion, guess what? That's ego in the way. And because you haven't taken those next steps, you are being selfish and you're delaying whatever progress that what you have that you're supposed to create, how it can impact someone else. So for the rest of this month, March, you have time to kind of sit with this, think of what you will do, not what you want to do. We're so full of, I want to do this, I want to do that. That's cool. Wants are great. But what will you do to get to the other side? Who's waiting for you on the other side? Just like they asked me that question, and I was like, my goodness. And then now with Mother Teresa saying this, if you're still looking for, maybe I'm not going to make this money, maybe I'm not going to get this person who's going to read my book, you didn't get the point. You're doing it anyway. And I keep saying this to you all because I have to say it to myself. Gary Vaynerchuk, Gary V, he talked about you being your own media company, you being your own, and I'm going to expand it, you be your own whatever you desire, you be your own it, and stop waiting for people, because guess what? the more content that you produce, whether that's on video, whether that's a book, whether that's a course, whether that's the plans for your center, whether that's publications that you need to write, whether that's grants that you're getting. And I keep saying that because in higher ed, the rest of the world doesn't see what we do. It all stays in this little bubble. But we never know what we've been creating over here, how it can lead into something else. So we may not see the end results, but you keep building, because then you'll have a track record, right? You have your credibility of the things that you've been building up. So don't wait for, oh, I got all the people now, so let me write my book. Oh, I got all of the investors coming, so let me write the plan for my youth center. No, build that stuff up now. So when it comes, you've been building that muscle. So over the next few weeks that we have, or the next few days we have in March, come up with a plan. And then you got 90 days to figure it out. God created the whole world in 6. And if we have the same power that of God that's in us, if we were created the same way, we got 90. We have more than 90, but I'm just saying what can happen in 90 days with laser intense focus. And this is what happens, because people used to say, and I was like this too. All right, so God is God. He created the world in 6 days. But think about it. And someone had to break this down to me. He focused on one thing. I don't know about you, but I have all these ideas and I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this and this and this. And then I'm like, man, I got nothing. One thing. God said, let there be light. Let there be fowls in the sea. Let there be birds in the air. And then God was done. He was done. In one day, we're trying to write a book, create a course, have a program, build a business, build up social media, all that, write a business plan. And one day we're trying to do all of this. In 1 week, we're trying to do all of this. And God was like, one day. So that's all I have for you. That is part 1. You all know how I do if you've been with me. We have a little conversation about building your brilliance awareness. I hope that was powerful for you. Let me know in the comments below. Maybe you need to sit and think about it for a little bit. So come back and say, what will you do in the next 90 days? And if you don't come back, I got something later that's going to prompt you to think about that, because I believe that the more I sit with this, I truly believe that we can change the world with the brilliance that we have, because we were born at this time. And I know it sounds cliche. We were born for such a time as this, but we could have been born at any other time. And the fact that we're all here together, that means at some way, somehow, our gifts and talents were meant to work together. I may not work with you directly, but the energy that we have that's going in the same direction, whatever I'm doing on my side, whatever you're doing on your side, that collective energy can expand and change something in the world, shift the dynamics. And I'm going to go to part 2 in a little bit, but think about this. And you don't have to be like a Christian to understand this, but a lot of people know about the revival that breaks out in the United States. There was a whole thing about the revival and awakening. I'm not going to name any names because I'm not that deep into it, but I just know. And there's a reason why there's certain states in America that's called like the Bible Belt states. And one man, and again, I can't remember, but it's almost like I want to say Benny Hinn. If you know, you can tell me because I can't think. But anyway, one person with a group of people, they brought Christianity to the United States like no other. And it was a huge awakening. There was a moment where they literally shift the energy on the planet. Go look up into it again. You don't have to be a Christian to get that. But because they were so powerful in their collective energy with one focus, they were able to shift an entire nation. And it started with one man, maybe 2. But seriously, so the more I think about that, on top of Mother Teresa's poem, on top of Who's Waiting for Me on the Other Side, we don't have to wait years. We can start something that's coming up in the spring. All right, so that was part one. I hope that I've inspired you to actually go out and think about this, because people are waiting on you. I could be waiting on you. You never know. All right, so that is part one. Part two, I always talk to you about my morning supplements, because you can't be brilliant and broke down. Your health and wellness is a major part of you being brilliant. And I'm going to go through this quickly. If you want to know more about it, the link is in my bio. You can also go to drvernitaglenwhite.com/wellness. So DRVERNITAGLENN-white.com/wellness. I can put it in there, but that's also in my bio. You can get $10 off to start any product. There are a lot of them. I encourage people to kind of look to see what's available. And if you see something, you can always message me and say, hey, I saw this. And then we can talk about some things from there, because you can get $10 off. And then there's also additional ways to save. I haven't taken everything in the store, just like Jeff Bezos hasn't tried everything in Amazon or on Amazon, but I can point you in the right direction. So I take this fat burning pudding. It's called Trim. This is lemon flavor, and it is collagen infused, which collagen is great for our bodies, especially the older we get. If you're on the other side of 30, if you're on the other side of 35, I'm not going to keep going. But anybody after like 27, really, we're losing so much collagen in our bodies. And I know for the women who look like me, we don't really think so much about collagen, because we're like, oh, black don't crack. It doesn't, but it can, right? And then think about how our bodies would look if we just if we focus on collagen. Some of our grandparents look amazing. Some of you seen my grandmother, she's 80, and it's like, oh my gosh, she doesn't need the collagen. But guess what? Our diets are not the same as our grandparents. The environment is not the same as it was when our grandparents were around. Or if your parents are older, then it's not the same. So we just need some extra help. I used to take powdered collagen. I've been delivered now. Oh, I'm not there yet. So this is the fat burning pudding. It's in lemon. It tastes a little bit like lemon meringue. I like it. And it blocks fat. I keep saying I'm not going to go into detail about this, but I have to, because it may be someone new. This is my second bottle. I'm actually doing what I'm supposed to do on this bottle. My first bottle was mango, and I wasn't doing right. It was a lot of emotional stuff. I was eating like nobody's business, but I still lost 3 inches on my waist and like an inch off each arm. And I only worked out like 7 or 9 days in February. So what this did, I believe, that it blocked some of that foolishness that was supposed to attach itself to my body. So I didn't get the fast results like some of my team members or some of the other people who use the product, but it saved me and it's supplemented by blocking that fat and keeping my muscles toned. So this time I am noticing, and then people saw a difference in my body when they see me. So even though I was like, oh, I didn't do everything right, they were like, hey, are you getting smaller? Yes. So this time I'm so excited. I can't wait to see what's going to happen. I don't want to say months, because sometimes some people last 30 days. Mine lasted, I think, 5 weeks going on 6. So it just depends. And you take a tablespoon. So that was that. The other thing I do, this was the liquid collagen. This is what I talked to you about. I was being delivered from the powdered collagen. Hair, skin, and nails. We all love our hair, skin, and nails. This one is formulated, for skin. It also works on your joints as well. I didn't really know that collagen could work on joints. I wasn't taking collagen for joints. I was taking collagen, even when I was taking the powdered collagen, for hair, skin, and nails. And then I started researching this, and then when I heard my e-commerce mentor, before she was my e-commerce mentor, she was talking about she takes one for joints, and she had joint pain because she had triplets and this, that, and the other. And then I realized I used to have a bad shoulder pain in my arm every now and then. And I used to be like, oh, it's okay. And as soon as she said that, I started thinking about, when was the last time I had that pain? And I haven't had it. And this is my second bottle of taking the liquid collagen. I was like, wow, it really does work and lubricate the joints and things like that. So this one, like I said, is formulated for skin, but everyone can benefit from collagen. If you've been taking the powdered collagen, you haven't been getting your money's worth because that one absorbs, and I said this the other day, I'm being nice. If it absorbs at 50% in the powdered version, then you mix it in your smoothies or your coffee or whatever, that breaks it down. And then by the time you drink it, your body has to break it down even more. So from 50%, you may only get the 15% by the time it goes through that process. With the liquid collagen, it absorbs at 90 to 95%. And because it's liquid, you're getting the 90 to 95%. And it goes to your organs. And then depending on the amount of deficiency you have, like some people see faster like hair growth than others. That's because their other body organs and functions are at optimal levels. If you've started taking it, that means, and then you haven't seen faster results in that area, that means the collagen is going to where it needs the most. And then the leftover will come. So I wanted to make that clear because I read up on that. I was like, why are some people experiencing faster results, especially in hair growth, than others? And that's why. And then the last thing I do is I take this probiotic. I just started this month. When I heard them say that it tastes like a pixie stick, I was like, yeah, right. It actually does taste like a pixie stick. It also tastes like, I don't know if you remember back in the day, they had those different flavor pouches of candy. It was cherry, grape, and I can't think of the other one. And it had that white stick of candy, and you would dip it, lick it, dip it. It kind of tastes like that. And then it also kind of tastes like the candy necklace. You know, that nasty candy necklace. People would eat, and they would chew on it, and their friends would come bite on it. Nasty. But, you know, you did anyway because you're a kid. You know any better. It also tastes like that. And the reason why probiotics are important because it's gut health. And if you're feeling like you're in a fog all the time, if you're feeling sluggish, even if you work out, and you're still feeling a certain way, it could be something's not moving how it needs to move, right? So this is the product. We have a new one. I'm trying that next month. But this one, I recommend everyone just get a probiotic, hands down, if you get nothing else. And with the probiotic, it helps other things work even faster because if there's a blockage, it can't get in, the other products can't do what they're supposed to do. Even if you don't get my particular product, any products work, it's the same thing. If you don't clear out the blockage, then you're wondering like, why isn't this working? Because it's trying to get through junk. So once you clean out the junk, then you'll start noticing things happening. All right. So that is what I want to talk to you about. They do both go together. You know, take care of your body, take care of your mind. Again, I'm going to say this. You can't be brilliant and broke down. All right. So I am Dr. V. Thank you so much for listening and watching with me. I will see you tomorrow because I'm doing this for the entire month. I skipped a few days and then somebody called me out because I did make that promise. I thank you for the accountability. I did a catch-up video, so that one is somewhere on here. It's about 45 minutes. And then I've been doing them ever since because I don't want to get called out anymore. So I will be doing this for the rest of this month, lives. I usually come on around during the week, 6:30-ish, between 6:30 and 6:50 in that window. I do that Monday through Friday. And then on the weekends, when I get up. So I am Dr. V. Thank you so much. You're welcome. I am Dr. V. Thank you so much for listening and watching with me. I will see you next time. Go be brilliant. Bye.